Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, I've said it before and I will continue to say it, folks. This whole Elon Musk hostile takeover of Twitter is the gift that keeps on giving, and man, it seems as though it never ends. Whether advertently or inadvertently, Elon Musk continues to deliver red pills to the masses. And here's another one. Again, don't know if it's direct or indirect, but Elon Musk just created a little scenario that totally exposed a group called Media Matters, which is George Soros funded, one of the biggest and most powerful organizations behind left-wing cancel culture. Well, he just exposed them and their plot to his millions upon millions of followers with the caption, quote, "Sunlight is the best disinfectant." So that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. Let's amplify this message. Let's talk about Media Matters, who's behind them, what they represent, and exactly what they're doing. Because surprise to absolutely no one, they're starting a new malicious cancel culture campaign to destroy Twitter now that Elon Musk is taking over. So of course we've got some stuff to talk about, but before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so Elon Musk, of course, as cryptic and as indirect as possible, like usual, he released this tweet on his timeline a couple hours ago. It's a CNN article that we'll get into later, and he writes, "Who funds these organizations that want to control your access to information? Let's investigate." Followed up with, "Sunlight is the best disinfectant." He's linking to this article right over here. "Brands should force Twitter to uphold content policy under Elon Musk, advocacy group says." And of course, which advocacy group is this? As advertisers prepare to negotiate forward-looking contracts with Twitter this week during the New Fronts conference, they can preemptively protect themselves from any damage to their brands resulting from Musk's eventual takeover, said Angelo Carusone, CEO of Media Matters for America, one of the organizations behind the letter. And so here is the actual letter, which is less of a letter and more of what seems to be a threat, blackmail some may ask, a left-wing intimidation campaign, which is exactly what we see from Media Matters all the time. I'm sure a lot of you guys are keenly aware with Media Matters, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Accountable Tech, Media Matters for America, to whom it may concern. Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter will further toxify our information ecosystem and be a direct threat to public safety, especially among those already most vulnerable and marginalized. Twitter has an outsized influence in shaping both public discourse and industry-wide platform governance standards. While the company is hardly a poster child for healthy social media, a little bit of an oxymoron, a little bit paradoxical, healthy social media, but we'll move on, it has taken welcome steps in recent years to mitigate systemic risks, ratcheting up pressure on the likes of Facebook and YouTube to follow suit. Musk intends to steamroll those safeguards and provide a megaphone to extremists who traffic in disinformation, hate, and harassment under the guise of, quote, free speech. His vision will silence and endanger marginalized communities and tear at the fraying fabric of democracy. The undersigned organizations believe that Twitter should continue to uphold the practices that serve as guideposts for other big tech platforms. We call on you, Twitter's top advertisers, to commit to these standards as non-negotiable requirements for advertising on the platform. Keep accounts, including those of public figures and politicians that were removed for egregious violations of Twitter rules, such as harassment, violence, and hateful conduct, off the platform. And what do you think that means? They're trying to intimidate Twitter's top advertisers to force Elon Musk to keep Donald Trump, Alex Jones, and other figures banned off the platform. Absolutely disgusting. Beyond algorithmic transparency, ensure algorithmic accountability, preserve people's privacies, and commit to depolarizing the algorithm. Continue Twitter's commitment to transparency and researcher access. As top advertisers on Twitter, your brand risks association with a platform amplifying hate, extremism, health misinformation, and conspiracy theorists. I mean, this is like blackmail. This is the organization that is funded by George Soros and other Democrat mega donors and billionaires to do nothing but intimidate corporations, blackmail corporations, with none other than threats of hit pieces and articles written about them if they don't comply with their demands. You know what that last sentence that I read is? Your brand risks association with a platform amplifying hate, extremism, health misinformation, and conspiracy theories? What that means is if you do not comply, and if you do not do exactly as we say by trying to boycott Elon Musk's Twitter with our demands, your brand is at risk because we will then write hit pieces with our connections in the mainstream media, connecting you, associating you with quote amplifying hate, extremism, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. I mean, how absolutely disgusting. This is straight up a threat, it is intimidation, and it is the disgusting truth, the ugly face of cancel culture from these left-wing authoritarians. And take a look at this. Sincerely, Access Now, Accountable Tech, Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, Center for Countering Digital Hate, Empowering Pacific Islanders Community, Face the Music Collective, Fair Vote UK, Free Press, Friends of the Earth, Gender Equity Policy Institute, GLAD, Global Project Against Hate and Extremism, Indivisible Northern Nevada, KROS, Media Matters for America, Media Justice, NARAL Pro-Choice America, National Hispanic Media Coalition, Religious Coalition for Reproductive Choice, Reproaction, Stop Online Violence Against Women Incorporated, The Sparrow Project, Ultraviolet, Union of Concerned Scientists, V-Day/1 Billion Rising, and the Women's March. All of these left-wing organizations that are all connected to the DNC, the Clintons, George Soros. It is the cultural intimidation and activism arm of the Democrat establishment, using straight-up intimidation tactics to go after their political opponents. And Media Matters is at the center of all of it. Every single time a massive right-wing figure faces some sort of political outrage campaign or is demonetized, deplatformed, it almost always starts with a Media Matters hit piece that is then amplified in the media. We all remember what just recently happened with Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok is basically acting as a wire service for the broader right-wing media ecosystem, said Ari Drennan, LGBT program director for Media Matters, the progressive media watchdog group. It's been shaping public policy in a real way and affecting teachers' ability to feel safe in the classroom. The account has been promoted by podcast host Joe Rogan, and it's been featured in the New York Post, the Federalist, the Post Millennial, and a slew of other right-wing news sites. Meghan McCain has retweeted it. The online influencer Glenn Greenwald has amplified it to his 1.8 million Twitter followers, calling himself the account's quote godfather. And it's the same thing that we see all the time, and it always starts with Media Matters. These maps and these connections, the map to the alt-right, the gateway to the alt-right. Media Matters is almost always listed or always at the core of these hit pieces and these campaigns to label regular right-wing conservative people and people like Joe Rogan who aren't even conservative as extremists or a threat to our democracy. And it's almost always BS. It's almost always disingenuous and done in a totally despicable manner. Deplatform this person, destroy this person's livelihood, or else we will use our influence in the media to destroy you and associate you with all of these terrible ideas. And speaking of the man who's at the core of this right now, which by the way, this is one of his tweets, you can try to bully and intimidate us. I promise you, it won't work, but please, by all means, please proceed, Mr. Musk. Written by Angelo Carusone in response to Elon Musk tweeting the CNN article. And this individual, Angelo Carusone, or Carusone, however it's pronounced, is the president and CEO of Media Matters. And here he is, fear-mongering over Elon Musk's Twitter takeover.
What it basically boils down to is that he does not believe that there should be any rules, specific rules against disinformation, against hate speech, against targeted harassment. That's it. He just doesn't believe it. He doesn't think that Twitter should have those. Elon Musk would say, oh no, we should absolutely allow that. If you really did care about the value and ideal of free speech and a wide-ranging place for perspectives, then you make sure that there's no one in that environment that is going to be systematically targeted in such a way that they are being driven away or shut down simply by who they are through coordinated harassment campaigns, threats of violence, and attacks. And so it's not free speech. None of this is free. This is all a tool designed to make rich people more money.
I mean, what a disingenuous actor. This idea that Elon Musk is trying to take over Twitter because he wants to amplify hate? He wants the platform to be open for calls of violence and harassment? When has Elon Musk ever said that? Literally never. What Elon Musk is talking about is freedom to discuss ideas freely, especially in the political sphere. For people not to be banned because they have a different perspective or they might disagree with some scientific notion that's pushed in the mainstream media. For people to be able to discuss what happened in previous elections without being deplatformed entirely. But of course, these completely dishonest political operatives working for Media Matters are going to frame the situation in the most horrific way you could possibly imagine to try to make Elon Musk look like a threat to democracy. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, just look at the rhetoric. Tucker Carlson tweeted on the 25th of April, "We're back," after literally getting suspended by the platform, and during the time that it was confirmed that Elon Musk was buying Twitter. And look at what Angelo Carusone wrote. All the biggest racist racists, worst people and most deceitful political smut peddlers are enthusiastic about Musk's acquisition of Twitter. It tells you everything you need to know about where this is all going. I mean, nothing but complete slanders, lies, and gross defamation. And it's so easy to tell that that's exactly what it is. Every time they attack these figures as being deplorable, despicable, terrible human beings, it never lines up with the reality. I mean, just take a look at this clip right over here.
Why didn't you use the money that you purchased Twitter with to do something for charity, philanthropy, more good with that money?
Well, I do a lot of things philanthropically,
Yeah.
Really, my companies are intended to do good for the future of humanity. With Tesla trying to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport and energy, and SpaceX is providing internet to the least served people around the world.
The biggest space company in the world.
I know.
In the world.
Aspirationally, I am trying to do good for humanity and the future of civilization.
How does a man that is so tapped into so much that's going on in the world today, making the time to come to an event like this, the Mecca, why is it important to be here this evening?
I wanted him to come.
Yeah. My mom wanted to come, so I brought my mom. That's the reason.
Does this seem like a far-right threat to democracy? Or does this seem like a good guy who's just trying to make the world a better place? It's the same thing with Donald Trump. He was just trying to make America great again. I mean, literally, that was the slogan. And they tried to cast him as the second coming of Adolf Hitler. They're trying to pit us against each other. They're trying to create these great antagonists and these boogeymen. They're trying to destroy the fabric of society, and they're trying to destroy democracy while claiming to be trying to save democracy and save the fabric of society. It's absolutely disgusting. Media Matters and the other organizations tied to it is not some left-wing entity fighting for anything good. That is merely the facade of a deeply corrupt, power-hungry organization controlled by billionaires and wealthy elite who are using intimidation tactics to take down their opponents so they can remain in control of ideas, of the flow of information, and public discourse. That is evil. That's also what I got for you guys, though. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.